Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Lentner. I am the DTO for Enter Consulting Group, and I'm going to be talking to you today a little bit about why ideation matters. I'm going to try to do this in one take, which is my way, and I think that you will find it useful. I'm going to try to keep it short and to the point. And the reason I'm telling you all this is because I really do believe that it is a foundational element of any successful exit strategy. And what I mean by that is being able to sell your company for a lot of money. So, a quick word on Enter Consulting Group. We are a think tank company. We do not build a product right now. At some point in the future, we might. But right now, we're really about connecting people and ideas through very innovative service offerings and licensable frameworks. We're a company that takes the environment and diversity and inclusion very seriously. We really believe that you should lift up those around you. We have presence in the United States and Colombia, and we continue to grow day by day. So, very briefly, what is ideation? And I'll give you my formal definition of it, or at least my definition of it. And to me, ideation is a process by which we identify the big problems facing an industry or an organization and begin connecting seemingly disconnected concepts to arrive at some cohesive ideas. And what I mean by that is that we arrive at ideas that can be monetized, either to make money or save money. So they have an inherent value to them. Now, contrary to popular opinion, ideation is not just blue sky thinking that's disconnected from reality. I hear that all the time. It is certainly not that. It is a way of looking at problems with a mindset of openness and exploration to arrive at new ideas and new solutions that people haven't thought of before. Also, the ideation process is not restricted to evangelists or thought leaders or design experts, as people that you hear about that do a lot of this work. While those individuals might facilitate the process, people like me, ideation really relies on multiple points of view, which deliver a balanced perspective on a particular problem domain. So it might be automotive or telecommunications or agriculture or immunization, whatever it is, right? Something that you're trying to work through. And not only does ideation provide a framework for thought, but it lays the foundation for a unification of the team across disparate organizations. So being able to take people that are engineers and salespeople and marketing experts and bring them all together to really drive ideas of value. And I do firmly believe that if you want to arrive at any really successful exit strategy and sell your company, you better have some of these solid ideas in place that differentiate you in the marketplace. So, is this a load of BS, right? Is ideation BS? I hear that too, along with the blue sky comments. And I say no. Ideation is what can take an underperforming company from mediocre to great if you undertake the exercise with a true desire to objectively understand a problem and then map those challenges to your inherent, nascent, or to be developed capabilities within the company. We've been there and done that is also a common phrase I hear when working with companies to explore these, seemingly address initiatives. But we have to remember that ideas have value in point in time. So you might have visited an idea in the past, talked about it extensively, spent a year working through it. It just wasn't the right time. So time of the idea, right? Its point in time is very important as well. Also, it's important to note that ideation does not have to be an overly cumbersome process. You don't have to, invest hundreds of hours and spend, millions of hours of time working through it. It could be as simple as 1 hour that you spend working through a problem, and you'd be surprised how much you can get out of that 1 hour. Now, if I told you that you could sell a seemingly average company for billions of dollars with one simple yet well articulated idea, would you believe me? Because that's what I want to prove to you today in this short presentation. So I'm going to talk about ideation in practice with a company I worked for called Wind River, where I was also the digital transformation officer. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history there. When I came on the scene at Wind River in 2021, this company was trying to transform itself to an intelligent edge company. But its real capabilities and where they were making money was around licensing things like real-time operating systems and hypervisors and managed Linux service. They had a newly developed product called Wind River Studio, which was a CI/CD. And there are lots of CI/CDs already out there, and it was really making $0. Tremendous amount of investment in the technology, but really no customers that wanted it or needed it. In addition to the other million CI/CDs they were already running. So Wind River was doing some very innovative work around vRAN, which is used in the telecommunications space by companies like Verizon, in order to roll out 5G services faster and on COTS hardware, right, commercially available hardware, instead of using specialized systems from companies like Ericsson or Nokia. And the numbers were very small with that business. And it slowed down a lot over a year because of the fact that the carriers were just not making money on 5G. So they stopped their roll and they went a little bit slower. So in addition to this business that we were already doing, I made some recommendations, right? I came up with a few what I call big ideas. And these big ideas were part of a project that I call Project Veloce, which is Italian for speed, also the name of my dog. And the three ideas I came up with were a lightweight cloud native computing edge solution, a transport edge for software defined vehicles, and a pretty unique and secure IoT edge solution. The solution we worked through was the private 5G, which is kind of derivative. It wasn't exactly what I was looking at, but it was something that our executives clung to. And the other projects were just kind of abandoned, ignored, right? So I continued with the work around Transport Edge, working with our sales and engineering teams to kind of continue articulating that idea and building on it. Even though most of the folks were sure it would fail, they were like, we've done automotive, been there, done that. It's a waste of time. I'm like, okay, let me see where I can go with this, because I tend to look at ideas and fail them fast. If they're not going to work, I dump them and run with something else. But I really felt like the capabilities that the company had and the need that was in the market would bear fruit. So I kept going with it. In March of 2021, really this idea around Transport Edge was born. And here in this diagram, you can see it's quite the eye chart. But this is the original ideation that was done, or a concept map around software-defined transport, or what we call software-defined vehicle now at this point. But I didn't want to limit myself to cars. So I said, okay, software-defined transport. And what I did was, as a solutions architect, kind of broke the domains down that were attached to software-defined transport. So we had a need around edge compute capabilities. There was always a need for security. Autonomous movement was very big at the time, still is, although we're having challenges there. Connectivity is a huge piece of this. How do you keep the vehicle connected, and how do you get data to and from it? And then what do you leverage on the back end for cloud resources? And lastly, the sensor technology in these vehicles is very critical. So you have to work all this stuff together and kind of bring it together to form a solution. In this case, software-defined transport or software-defined vehicle. So during this ideation process, I tend to ask myself and others some very simple questions. One of those first questions is, why do we or should we care, right? And so the answer to that here was that Wind River was not competitive in the transport space, and they were only capturing a very small piece of that entire ecosystem. They were doing things around, real-time operating systems and aerospace and some stuff maybe in vehicles, in the infotainment part of it, but it just really wasn't anything earth-shattering. And transport and these mobile edge platforms really needed to be viewed as a separate entity. So that's something that, I said, why should we care? It's becoming important. The second question I asked to the team and to myself really is, what's the disruption factor here? What are we going to do that's disruptive in the market that will create ripples, right? So the three items we ended up coming up with were the fact that, companies wanted to be the top of the food chain, and they were all fighting to do this, and they still are right now. It's even heated up really significantly in the past year. They wanted to all be kind of the top dog there in this ecosystem and provide a holistic solution to the OEMs, which are the automobile manufacturers, and tier ones, who are their suppliers. And what I knew was that the automotive companies also didn't want to be locked into a proprietary model, something that was closed. They wanted something that was open and scalable and secure and a safe framework to deliver these, critical transport systems. And because Wind River was coming from a place of open source and wanting to be an open type company and, extensible, I thought it made sense. Also, there were companies like BlackBerry with their real-time operating system products like QNX that already own the market and still do own the market. But their solutions were lacking flexibility and openness. They were very proprietary and tied to their own solutions. Lastly, when you look at something like this, what other capabilities, and I translate capabilities to revenue, does a solution enable, right? So edge compute capability is critical in tying together sensor systems, cloud resources, vehicle to other vehicle or other device communications, and ensuring that system integrity occur and there's security and support of all of this, right? So you really have to look at that and say, what other capabilities does this bring to the table that I can now leverage in other areas as well? So what's an idea worth? Something like that. Simple idea, nice little pretty pictures and things connected together, but what's it really worth at the end of the day? So the solution that we put together ended up being a multi-year deal, valued into the hundreds of millions of dollars over multiple years for software-defined vehicle. So an area where nobody wanted to go, we went to it, and we made an effort to really, put together at least an idea and take it to the market. Ended up being worth a lot. And a company like Aptiv went ahead and snapped that up as something that they saw they needed in order to bolster their offerings in the automotive marketplace. In 2023, Aptiv went a step further and bought the entire company, or tendered an offer for $4.3 billion for the entirety of the company. At the end of the day, I think it settled for around $3.5 billion with market adjustments and things like that. But essentially, those people that own private shares of the company, including the investment company, netted about $1,000 per share of the stock. And that's significant. So if you follow this market, you'll see that a joint solution based on the transport edge concept was unveiled at CES in January of 2023. So it took about 2 years of ideation, from that idea to reality, and lots of hard work from engineering teams at Wind River and Aptiv. But the idea got arms and legs, and it actually did something. So the question I have for you is, how many ideas is your company sitting on right now, right, that could take you to a successful exit strategy in that amount of time and really deliver a significant return on investment, right? Unfortunately, I think that most companies have a tremendous amount of these, hidden ideas locked behind ideas that they've been there and done that, or the idea won't work, or other just defeatist mindsets. I'm going to tell you, don't be that company. Get to a successful exit strategy. And I say, do it with me. I'll take you there. So if you want to partner with the Enter Consulting Group, we can definitely do that. I have a very simple plan. We meet, we learn about what each other does, what each other brings to the market. We do some NDAs, we do some planning on go to market, aligning our products and services, and do it. Go make some money. So if you're interested in hearing more about this, or you want to discuss this particular presentation, feel free to drop me a line. It was a little bit informal, and I just did this in one take, but I hope you find it useful. Thanks. I appreciate it. Bye.